Hey everybody, it's Russell back with Our Man Reviews, and today, it's another big book video day today for you guys, and in this video I'm going to be going over all of the books that I am going to sell for 2026. Planning to sell them for this month, August 2026. A few of these I know I put on my TBR list, TBR book list for August, but I just finally decided, like, no, I'm going to plan to sell them for good this time. So, yeah, I got a lot of books here, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the first book called Sixth Grade Sleepover by Eve Bunting. Yeah, I'm not too interested in this book. I got it at the DI, Deseret Industries, in the city right next to the city where I live in for $1, so, you know, you can't pass up on that, but no, I'm not into this. I did some research about it, and it turns out it was just dumb, so, yeah. I picked it up because it was an Apple Paperbacks book. I think it was a 1986 book, and I just thought it'd be like Goosebumps. I thought it would have been a little bit creepy, but no. So that one's gonna be sold. Next is April Adventure from Ron Roy's popular Calendar Mysteries spin-off book series. And this is book number 4 in that series. This is a first edition, first print that I got for $1 at my local used bookstore. Yeah, and it's just, that's why it's got a significant amount of damage up there at the top. Yeah, this book sucked so much. I could not stand this book one bit at all. Next, December Dog. The second to last Calendar Mystery Series book. Yeah, this book, the spine was like kind of falling apart. You can see it's got like so much wear on the edge there. Yeah, right there. Kind of hard to see on camera, but it's there. The cover is also just totally beat up. You can see Lucy's head right there has gotten scribbles on it, all over it. And it just sucks. This book was no, it was not for me. I kind of like this, like, survival aspect to, or the dog, or like the rescue puppy mission aspect to it. But it's not even a Christmas book. I would have thought it would have been, but no. Kind of made me a little disappointed that because I thought I'd like this book more, but no. Also, I wrote my name on the inside. I'm not going to show it, but it says Russell Matthews 25. I got this book in 25 last year. And I also, like, put tape right there to, like, because somebody else's name was on there, so yeah. That book, not a good book in that series either. Alright, next, Too Cool in the Present, book number 1 in Ron Roy's other popular Capital Mysteries spin-off series. This book was probably one of the most worst books I've ever read. It was better, though, than April Adventure. I honestly think April Adventure was probably the #1 worst book I've ever read. This book was better, but it still wasn't, like, so good. It's nice that I have a shiny copy of it and all, but it's not my thing, so I'm gonna give that one away from that series. Here's another Calendar Mystery series called August Acrobat. This book was kind of fine on its own, but just thinking about it a little bit more nowadays, I don't care for it anymore at all. No, just not my thing. Okay, next. April Adventure. This is the reprint copy that I have of that book from the series. Yeah, I'm obviously going to give away this reprint too. I mean, yeah, all the reprints in that series have the numbers on the spines. The first edition, first printings don't for some reason. That's going bye-bye. Next, another Calendar Mystery series. I think in total I have about 4 or 5 just that I wanted to give away in this series, because it just, most of the books were stinkers. I feel like the later books in the series, most of them were just the best ones ever, and I'm definitely keeping those. For instance, like October Ogres, definitely September Sneakers, and definitely November Night. Those 3 are like my top 3 favorite books in the Calendar Mystery series so far. So definitely keeping those, just not these that I've already went through. But next is March Mischief, the 3rd book in that series. I thought I would have liked this book a lot more, because like my birthday's in March, but no. I think the thing I hated the most about this book was it's just totally absurdly lazily written twist ending. It was just stupid. But that one's going by too. So far I've been through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 books. This is the 7th, I think, called Invisible by Cristina Diaz Gonzalez and Gabriella, whatever, Epstein. I think this is also a middle grade standalone novel, graphic novel, I should say, because you know the graphic novels have all the pictures inside for kids and very few words. But I've owned this book for so long and I've taken quite good care of it. But when I tried to read it, it felt so weird and it wasn't my thing. So yeah. Just tried to read it, but didn't like it. Plus, I have obviously totally grown out of graphic novels completely, middle grade graphic novels, because, like, you know, I'd just rather read more words in chapter books than look at more pictures in these kind of kiddie-like graphic novels. Alright, next is The In-Between by Marina Cohen, which still has the dust jacket intact. I actually taped it to the book because, you know, that's the thing I do with dust jackets on hardcover copies. I always want to tape them to the books, to the covers immediately, because I don't want them coming off or getting ripped or anything. But this book was a book that I absolutely just hated reading, unfortunately, and I was so into this book, but it was just... The flashback sequences sucked so much in this book. There were, like, just absurdly stupid flashback sequences in this book, which, if you guys know me, I absolutely cannot stand at all. Time travel, dream, and flashback sequences in any books. I just cannot stand them at all. They really get to me, and they really, really piss me off, like, a ton. I can't stand those at all in any books. In this book, it had all those. Well, it only had the flashback sequences in this book, but still, it was a stupid book. But that one I'd probably sell for like $10 or something, considering it came from thrift books. But I got it off of Amazon. I'm probably gonna price it for $17 because it says US down there. $17 on the barcode down there, but not a great one at all. I do not recommend it, and I have a review for that book up on my channel as well, in case you want to see me going through more in depth about that book, but it was just hideous. Next is a book that I kind of thought was okay, but it felt more of an adult book. Not that it had any violence or like other graphic adult content in it. It had some kind of bigger words in there, and it felt more like it was written for adults. I don't know how to explain that, but this book is called The History of the United States by Captivating History. Or Captivating History. Yeah, this book was just... I wanted a more like US history focused history book, but this one just wasn't the right pick, and it just felt too adult-like. There were too many words, too many pages. Oh no. Well, there wasn't too much. It wasn't too bad. It was shorter than the length of a typical Goosebumps book, closing in exactly 100 pages, I think. Yeah. And these next two are actually DVDs. Now, sorry I didn't mention that at the beginning of the video, but I have two separate DVD double features here that I'm going to sell to for this video. This first one is Scooby-Doo, featuring Scooby-Doo and the Boo Brothers and Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase. Now, the reason I'm selling this one and this next one, double feature featuring Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School and Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampires, because I already own these two, so I don't need extras. Plus, these both are like still wrapped up nicely in like their protective like plastic right here. Yeah, so I'm gonna be selling these because I already have these owned, so I don't need two more. Yeah, great movies. Just I didn't really like Ghoul School or Boo Brothers that much, considering that they were literally like two of the first Scooby-Doo movies to ever come out. They just weren't my thing, you know. Alright, next book is a book that was so boring to the very start that I didn't want to finish it. This book is called What Was the Age of Exploration, from the Who, What, or Where series. That was like, all the books each were made by like different authors each, but this one, yeah, here it is. Some of you may recognize this book and the series that it comes in with, but this book was so boring. I thought I'd like it. All these books have like cool illustrations near the middle. You can see it right there. You have an Indian man, well, two Indian men right there. It's pretty nice. Book was terrible. So that one's going to be sold too. Alright, next is a Hardy Boys book from the original Hardy Boys series that came out like way long ago, like I think in the early 1900s, 1920s or something. I don't know, I'm definitely not the biggest expert on Hardy Boys or Nancy Drew. But this first book is book number 7 in the series, The Secret of the Caves. Not, well, I haven't even read this book, and I'm just, after reading, like, book 8, which is the next Hardy Boys book that I have that I'm about to show you after this one, that book was so boring at the start that I wanted to sell this one because I just didn't want to go through another boring Hardy Boys book. I love the blue cover and the spine and everything, but I know a kid's gonna love this book more than me, that's for sure. Pretty cool cover. Yeah, that's about it. Alright, here's book 8, The Mystery at Cabin Island, or Mystery of Cabin Island. Yeah, as I mentioned before, this book was just so boring at the start that I was just like, nope. I'm not going to read Secret of the Caves, and I'm definitely not going to finish reading this book, so I'm going to give it away. But great cover. I'm still going to stick with Goosebumps, Fear Street, and other books, just not Hardy Boys. Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew so far is not my thing. But you know, everybody likes different things, everybody has their own opinions, but that's my opinion for Hardy Boys. Alright, next is The Falcon by Jackie French Caller, a YA book that I got a little while ago. And I'm just, yeah, I don't care to read this book, so I'm gonna give that away. Just put that away quickly. Forget it. Never happened. Alright, the last book is like one of those humongous hardcover books that I got in that same local used bookstore of mine, called The Story of America, a National Geographic Picture Atlas book. I mean, this thing is huge. It's kind of a weird length. It's more taller than it is wider, I think. It's just kind of weirdly sized compared to another one of these like huge hardcover size books. And I've read this book, and it had some like graphic, inappropriate imagery in this book that it was just like, why? Why would you include those in this book? Like, gosh, people, whoever did that, I'm pissed about that. But my gosh, I just that really gives me bad thoughts every time I go through this book, having to see them. Like when the words are like underneath the pictures, and I have to read the words, but then the pictures just come in view with the words. It's so frustrating. So those are all the books that I'm going to be selling this August for 2026. yeah, so anyways, guys, thanks for watching my video. Subscribe down below, comment down below, and I'll see you again in my next videos. Take care.